To the second order item, we have a B, motion to approve hiring Chuck Gardner as the special counsel for ending the appeal on 2290 Gilbertsville Road. I need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I need a second.
Second.
Do I have any questions or comments from the board? Second was Elwood. Do I have any questions or comments from the board? Do I have any questions or comments from the public? No, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Aye.
All right,
I forgot
motion.
my water.
And Tyrone also did. Janine, just so you hear, Tyrone did vote yet.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we're gonna move on. Now, here's where we're gonna move on to. The next one is gonna be the motion to approve the formation of a financial budgeting type committee. It does not say who's on it yet. It's just to be allowed to be formed. All right? I need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I need a second.
Second.
Give it to Tyrone. Jeannie. Thank you. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor? Any questions from the committee? Here. Anybody here? No. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody who didn't study? No? Motion passes. Second one. Motion to approve formation of the municipality building committee. I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
I got a motion and a second. Anybody have any questions or comments from the board?
No.
Anybody have any questions or comments from the gallery? Residents? No. Seeing no more questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, here's gonna be the discussion part. We're gonna open up discussion about the 2026 budget. We had opened the budget last time. We have not made any changes as of yet. Right, this is to discuss if we're going to make any changes, if we're gonna add anything, take anything off, anything like that. Doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna make any changes, just it's open to discussion. All right, I'm gonna open the floor up to Elwin, so you can discuss about the library. Go ahead.
As far as opening the budget to do so, and our solicitor will be able to address the concern, opening a budget and inserting line items and changing numbers requires advertising, requires completing the budget, identifying specifically what you're doing, what you're changing, and so forth. And so there's a time frame, a sequence, and an advertising activity that would need to take place if we did that.
If you did that, yes.
What I've heard, not that I'm particularly recommending, is that the library, of course, we talked about it last time, it's been well publicized, that the Upper Pottsgrove has not contributed their fair share over the last 4 or so years to the tune of approximately $30,000 per year. And on top of the $30,000 that we don't contribute, the state then will not contribute an additional $9,600 based on our contribution. And so I am proposing, and again, this isn't a personal proposal, but it is, I believe it's appropriate that we return our fair share to the library. Now, whether that happens as a particular budgeted line item, again, my questions and concerns about timing and advertising, all that sort of thing. I would question why it's not possible just to decide we're going to spend the money and spend it out of our reserves. We spend money out of reserves all the time for things that just come up all the time. Is there any reason why we couldn't contribute?
No,
That's
you can do that, and I would suggest it's much easier to amend the budget, which can be done throughout the year. If you were to open the budget and, as Elwood said, adjusting it for not something that had been, a nature of a capital expense, for example, it has to be advertised for 10 days. You have to decide on everything this evening. It has to be published, and you're on an extremely tight timeline. And then we have to come back for a special meeting on or before the 15th of February. So you're at a much tighter deadline than if you were to do option B, which would be amended, and that can be done at any point during the year, and most municipalities do that.
So we didn't open the budget yet?
You did open.
We did
Technically
open.
open it. We didn't
Okay,
do
but that's what I
anything
thought I
with that.
heard.
Right.
Okay.
Which we advise, because if you were going to go that route, you needed to do that
Exactly.
previously.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that you have to go that route. You can still,
Are you only allowed to do it once a year?
correct,
Once a year you can only open the budget?
open the budget, yes.
Okay.
Opening the budget versus amending it,
Versus
you can do
amending.
it every meeting.
Amending, you can do it
You
throughout
can
the
do
year.
that anytime? Okay.
I'm not sure if you're using your microphones. Can everyone hear?
Can everybody hear what we're
Yeah.
saying?
You have to tap.
Good?
I'll
If
speak
anybody
louder.
can't hear, let me know. Go ahead, Tyrone.
My comment is, I'd like to meet all the requirements necessary so the library can get their funding on time, so they can get the dollars that they need from the state also. I'd like to see that happen.
Tyrone, I have had conversations with people from the library, and they confirm that if we were to amend our budget and commit to paying our $30,000, that that's satisfactory for them. It doesn't need to particularly appear as a line item in a budget.
I'm fine with that. Thank you, Lord.
Okay, I just have a comment because there was, some information put out by the former executive director of the library, that what we were hearing last time wasn't exactly correct, that they already did get that $9,000 and some dollars. And I think if we just make a commitment that we will fund them, they will be okay. So my thought was, why can't we just give them $10,000 this year and then work on the budget next year to either increase it 10 the next year up to 20 and then 10 to 30 with the budget as we work on it later this year for the following years? I mean, we're still committing to it. That's what I wanna know. I know you
They're not
want-
here.
Okay, I don't see anybody here tonight.
know.
But as far as responding to that, obviously, we've shorted them over $100,000 in the course of the last few years. As far as them having the state money, while, again, the way the budgets overlap and timing and so forth goes, they may very well have it, but when reporting our lack of our $30,000 contribution, the money can be clawed back. There's a period of time where the state will allow a library to carry somebody who's in arrears for a number of years, like 5 years. And after that, the state says, we're giving up on that now.
Carry who in arrears?
5 years.
Carry who?
Carry the non-paying municipality. They will
How are they gonna, what are they gonna do to us?
not matter what they will do to us, it's a matter of they will not support the library, they will not match the library with their $9,600.
Right,
And the library does not have to maintain us as their home region. We can get we have county cards, we can go to Norristown or whatever it is.
right.
Yes, we can still go to the library in Pottstown, yes, we can still get books out of there, we'll be using our card that was issued from someplace else. The big,
I'd like to add, if we have the funding now, let's make the library whole now. Not delay it, let's make them whole now.
So just
and I don't
promising-
disagree.
So just saying, we're just gonna increase it, even if we give 15 this year, 15 next year. I'm nervous about, this is how we balance the budget every year. We've dipped into the reserve, I'm not a fan of that, and we have a lot of things in front of us that we have to figure out. I'm just saying, it makes me nervous, but then again, the next item is about upping our funding to the
Certainly.
Arboretum.
And my comment to that is the same as I made at the last meeting is, we do have a huge reserve account. The library does not. $10,000, $15,000, $30,000 is a very, very small amount compared to what we have to spend. Whatever we're in arrears, whatever we'll need next year, we're gonna figure that out over the course of the next few months and the next year. And if we have to adjust our budget and find revenue from someplace else to amount for that next year, spending an extra $30,000 now does not make a big difference.
I know,
If we find out that we need
I-
to adjust our budget by, $500,000 next year, $30,000 is minuscule.
I get what you're saying, I do, but it's just, we keep saying because we have that money really was to build a building. And we desperately need, we can't ask our employees to keep
Oh, yeah.
operating out of what we have.
No
It's,
question,
it's a liability for the township,
no question. And that money that we do
Hold
have.
on for a second, Tyrone, hold on.
That, that money that we do have, scheduled for the new building will be, I'm sure, a major portion of the expense, the the money we're gonna need to spend to build that. That's not saying we're not going to have to borrow other money to do so. You know, if we have $8 to $10 million, that's a huge down payment on a property.
I mean, how much are you expecting to spend on these
Wait.
buildings?
That's all the stuff that we're gonna be figuring out over the next few months.
I know.
So we don't know right now, but I do know that the amount of money we're talking about contributing to the library and hopefully to the Arboretum is relatively small compared to what we're gonna have to manage next year.
I get that.
We
and
can
I-
wait till next year, I don't think these places can.
Papa, what?
He said,
I didn't hear
Elwood
what you
said that he's concerned that they can't wait till
Well,
next year.
It was, see, and that's what I'm fuzzy on, like, we can't wait then, it kind of like sounded like the former executive director said we could, they have that much, I'm not sure.
I have comments afterwards, I'll let you
Okay.
guys all have comments, because I
Good,
did do
good,
some
yeah.
research for this.
Go,
Even if
good.
they have the 9,600, they don't have our 30,000.
I get that, no, I get that.
Tyrone, did you have anything else? Go ahead, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that we have been putting the library on hold for the past 4 or 5 years. That has to stop. Let's make the library whole, and we'll be concerned with bills, incoming bills as they come in the future. Let's make the library whole now while we have dollars. Let's take care of the library.
And Dave, do you have any additional comments?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, so here's my comments when it comes to about the library and such, and the budget as a whole, right? First, I spent some time with Matt Dallas, who we had last spoken about hiring him as a financial consultant, and we were concerned, obviously, about him having a chance to have time to look over the budget with such a short time period we had. Obviously, he agrees. There's just no way for him to look over a budget, get everything together, and get any kind of recommendation as into what we should do going forward. So the idea right now is to do this in threefold. First, right, look over the last 4 to 5 years of the budget on where we are with our operating expenses, because obviously our operating expenses are much higher. There are normal everyday expenses, and obviously we know they have increased. Look at the exact amount of money that is coming in, where the money has been going and coming from. That'll give us an absolute plan to go forward, along with the new budgeting committee, to see where we're standing going forward to plan ahead. So we're gonna do a lot more planning ahead. The second thing he's gonna look at obviously as into what the expenditures were, where the money went so far for this sewer fund. Now, obviously, the sewer fund has been used, as I said last time, in my opinion, as a piggy bank. It's not necessarily a piggy bank, but it is in the general fund, and it's not allotted to anything right now. It's not allotted to capital, which we have no budget for capital. It's not allotted to operations, all the things come in for operations. It's not allotted to anything in particular. It's just the money that's sitting in an investment, knowing that we're probably going to use it as money that's going to be used for the township, in the building, for this stuff, for whatever other things we need it for. Last year, we all know, they spent about $250,000 additional on lawyer fees, and about $700,000-ish on the municipal building that we're working on. The plans, we still have those plans, so they didn't waste any money on that. There may have been some wastage, of course, and we all know that, right? But that's okay, we're gonna just do what we can, right? The question just is, right now, the budget is operating at a $24,000 deficit, right? We have not budgeted the $50,000 that we have, that we're gonna pay in rent. We didn't budget, okay, when I say we, the budget as a whole, 2026 budget, right? Did not budget the $13,000 for Minor to hire the assistant town manager, or the new town manager. It didn't put in the $3,700 to do for the background check, right? It definitely did not do the $30,000 for the library, right? It didn't do any additional money that we would have towards any additional capital. I mean, I know Jeremy's not here, but if we had any other equipment that was needed or anything like that, that's not in there, right? Obviously, we know we're going to use it for a building, right? So the question just is, how much are we willing to keep taking from that knowing that all those expenses one day are gonna come back and say, hey, look, you still need to spend that operating capital. Right? I have no problem giving the money to the library. You know what? I'm in support of the library. I wanna give them the money.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I wanna vote yes, right? I'm concerned with the amount of deficit we're going to have if we're going to just continue to take away from the little nest egg that we have.
Exactly.
Right? I would like to give to the library. I know they did get the $9,600, so from my understanding of what my research has done, right, and I don't wish the person was here, I was really hoping they'd be here so they can confirm everything, right, is they get paid a supplemental or subsidiary from the state depending on the people they put down as their residents. They put down West, Upper, Lower, and Pottstown. So in essence, they go by those township amount of people they have in each one of those townships. They get the subsidiary from the state depending on how many people are coming in. Our part is the $9,600. The state will continue to give that as long as they're listed, but eventually, and like you said, Elwood, after 5 years, they will classify that we are a non-participating member. Thus, they can't claim us anymore. That's where the $9,600 will be taken away, right? And they'll have, or have to be given back. As in, so if we're not paying after 5 years, they will classify us as we disagree, we are not a member of the Pottstown Public Library. We could be the Montgomery County Library, but not the Pottstown Public Library. Thus, that's where they lose the $9,600, all right? And I know we wanna do the arbitrarium too, right? So, and there's other things we're looking at that are later on. And the question just is, when do you say enough's enough? You gotta live, I always have people live, when they do the budgeting, they go, you gotta live within your means. You know, these are what your means are, you gotta live within your means, or you're gonna have to raise taxes. You gotta do one or the other. You can't just keep taking money and spending it without getting more money in. So it's either live with your means or raise taxes. Now, obviously, I am not, last time I said quarter percentage. We don't have the time for that. After looking at that, we'd have to have special meetings, we'd have to have special things. It's just not something we're gonna be able to do. If we continue on this path, we're gonna be looking at a much larger tax increase in the future. I would like to give them some money, right? I would, this is just my personal opinion, obviously I know Tyrone and Elwood, right? There are 2 other additional items that are gonna come up. The Pottstown Library is incredibly important, 100% important, right? However, also having a new website where the entire community will have access to, and the entire community, although the entire community has access to the library and such like that, right? Making payments and stuff, that's gonna cost money. Also, on top of that, if we decide to stream, I am a big proponent, it's up to you guys when we talk about this later, is streaming to allow a lot of people, we have a lot of single families, single mothers, single parents, elderly people that can't be at these meetings and have no other recourse but and thank you so much for all you've done with putting it on YouTube, but they have no recourse of being able to be actually part of the meeting. And I'd like to find a way for that if possible, right? What I'd like to do is, I'd like to, and I'm gonna ask you, Elwood and Tyrone, your thoughts, is I would like to say, okay, we're going to spend an additional $30,000. We're going to give, we don't know how much, but we're gonna give some, absolutely the majority of the amount to the library, and leave some to fix the other items that need to be fixed in the township that the entire community is gonna use. If that costs us nothing, the whole $30,000 can go to the library, because it's not, we're not sitting there saying it's a line item we have to do immediately, right now, $30,000. We have to do sometime during the year, we have to amend to give them the money, right? So if that's the case, we could sit there and say, hey, look, we're going to allot X amount of dollars to be spent on these few areas, if wanted, and then we can piecemeal it as we need. That's a thought, right? What would you say? to that?
I would. be
Or would you
repeating-
rather?
Yeah, I'd be repeating myself. I think you mentioned $30,000 as setting
Thank you.
aside for doing all those other projects. that
Doesn't
might be
necessarily,
done. That leaves, I don't think it'd be enough money that wouldn't be enough money to do what you're asking to do. Like just revamping the webpage is a multi-$1,000.
$7,500.
There you go. And so that $7,500 now you're suggesting should go to the library, who we've shorted by over $100,000 in the last 4 years. And we haven't even started talking about the Arboretum, which spends tens of thousands more dollars than we give them in work that they do for us. We haven't really talked about that too much. And I'm just repeating myself. We're gonna be earning over $250,000 in interest on the savings we have right now. We're gonna be earning extra money from earned income as more people earn more money this year. We always, the budget, I didn't look at the way this budget was put together, but I'm sure it was developed very conservatively. And we always wind up with more at the end of the year than we thought we would. So between developments, between earned income, between interest on the $1 million we got in there now, we are going to have more money than we are accounting for. And even if we don't, I think at the end of the year when we create our new budget, or during the year as we create our new budget, we're going to know the exact numbers we need and we can adjust for it then. I wouldn't suggest we don't do without live streaming. I think that's important. I wouldn't suggest that we don't update our webpage. I think that's important. Just the way I think the library and the Arboretum are important. And we do have the money in our pocket right now. We should spend it to do the things that we need to do.
Tyrone, go ahead.
Yes, sir. My thoughts are, I'd like to see that we make the library whole. Let's pay them the $30,000. We're not, going to build a building next year, or maybe within the next 2 years. So, whatever money we use, we can probably make up sometime in the near future. So, whatever outstanding bills that we now have, I'd like to take care of those bills. Let's just pay them, get them out the way. That way we don't have to be concerned about them, and we'll pay them on in the future.
All right, I got a question. I'm gonna ask Rebecca.
So,
Right, tonight, right, we were talking about giving more money to the library. Right? Now, I think all 5 agreed to give them something.
Yes.
We don't know how, we haven't agreed to how much. Give them something. Do we have to say exactly how much tonight?
No, you do not have to say exactly how much tonight.
But we can make an agreement that we're going to give them
You can commit.
more. We can
Yes.
commit more.
And you can, like I said, you can do it at any time during the year. It doesn't have to be in this magic window.
Does it have to be an exact, it doesn't, so I can't, so
No.
do we have to say $30,000?
No, you do not. You do not have to.
But we want,
select
if we
the
wanted
amount.
to give them as we see fit, let's say in this June, after Matt Dallas has had looked at our finances and said, hey, look, we have the additional
Absolutely.
30,000,
I would suggest that's the prudent way to approach it.
right? Would you have an issue with just approving, we're gonna give them more, we just don't know how, as we see the budget, we're gonna give them, and if we're the hope is to give them up to the full 30.
I would think if they could hear our discussion right now, they would be very worried.
But
Because.
we're gonna vote to give them more, we
again,
don't know how much.
I would say they'd be worried.
Yeah, Al, I see your point of view, and, I can work with that. I can work with that. As long as we get the funding to them this year, let's try to make them whole this year.
No, I don't disagree with you.
Along with all the other outstanding, bills that we may have. Let's get them out the way now.
Alright, hold on for a second, Tyrone. Alright, hold on for a second, does anybody on the board have any more questions about the article?
Yeah,
Now, I one other question I had, because you had mentioned to me, real quick, Dave, before you go.
yeah, the question
You-
is,
Go ahead, Dave.
this is gonna be reoccurring every year once we make this, probably reoccurring.
Probably.
So, from just listening here, are we talking about, or we let the people know right now we're raising taxes next year?
It's a discussion for the budget committee, and will be presented to the public in the future.
That's fine, I just wanted it out there.
Kathy, you had mentioned something about the auditorium to me. before,
Arboretum.
Arboretum,
Mhm.
right? And saying that there's a time period when they get a,
Right, I know exactly, cause I was looking at what, thanks. That, at what,
they
Ellen pointed out.
they get money, and then
They
at a
have
certain
a
time, it's a
gala.
match.
They have a gala every, like, November, October, November, in the fall, it's a fall gala. And whatever they raise at that gala for the people who attend and the, silent auction and any donations made that night, that the Hilsey Foundation, which is the foundation that founded the Arboretum, will match that. So if they raise $50,000 that night, they get an extra $50,000. And we are, in this, report that Elwood supplied us with, we are the only organization or municipality or business, I guess, that donates to them. And we give $5,000.
At that
Income
exact
to-
time.
And that we time it, so we're not giving this out until the fall. October, November at the earliest. And it makes us a sponsor of the event.
Okay,
That's how we've arranged it.
so if we decide to give them more, it would be beneficial for them to do it the exact
To
same
do it
time.
at that time.
Agree?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we'll always do it at that
We
time
can-
of year.
They can get this money anytime this year. They have operating expenses. They don't need an influx of cash right now.
Right,
Just to know that instead of spending almost $30,000 for our business and only getting 5,000 back, it'd be nice if they knew they were getting more.
Alright. So we can
And their
definitely,
reach
that'd
is
be a
far.
separate vote, I assume? One.
Are you voting?
If we were voting, if we were voting to increase and give something
be a
to,
separate
it would be a
vote.
separate vote, Okay. Alright, any questions you guys have first? I'm gonna offer this up to anybody here that would like to discuss, cause obviously when it comes to a budget, it's gonna be something that you're looking at using the funds from the sewer as of right now, right? And eventually, that sewer's not gonna be available. So if it becomes a line item, then it becomes a tax increase if we don't get the money from some other way. Whether it be investments, whether it be more people moving in, whether it be more higher incomes, percentage wise. Right? Does anybody here in the public have a question or a comment regarding the public library or anything to do with the public library or the arboretum possibly getting more funds this year?
I'll say it.
Go ahead.
Okay, Martin Drive, 138 Rose Valley Road. So the library is important to us. I don't know if anybody read the newspaper just recently. They lost the passport because of some
Yes.
state thing. I always understood that it was $1 for dollar with the state, and it's only a recommendation for the $5 per person. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Correct. It's a recommendation.
But if you at least give them $10,000 tonight, and when I was on the board, I always hoped that when we had money, because we always budget conservatively, like Elwood said, if we had money at the end of the year, you could toss them more money. Obviously, that didn't work out, so in the future, that would be great if you could actually put it in the budget, but for the time being, at least match that, so, even tonight, if you could match that, that would be great for them. So, that's my 2 cents.
Alright,
My understanding is the $5.
Is it?
That's what they're looking at,
yeah, it's very.
Everybody else gives $5, that's what the state looks at, $5.
That's what the state recommends.
Right.
The townships get.
I don't know what actually secures their funding, though.
We mean secures the funding from the
What amount?
city.
So from
The
what I
subsidy?
understood years ago, it was a 1-to-1, as long as the state would match what you gave up to a certain amount. And that was that $9,600 amount that they would match.
Yeah, so from my understanding, again, I wish they were here because they obviously would have much more intelligence than I am about it. From my understanding from the research had, is it goes simply by the state matches how much of the people. So it's not dollar for dollar, like 1 to 5.
Well, yeah, but-
I think that's the $9,600. Now, where they lose it, like I said earlier,
Yeah.
is the person. Now, they also, the issue they're having is, and I don't know if the people on the board know this, the issue they have is to get that money from the state, the $9,600, they have to spend the money from the township. So if our money is supposed to be $30,000, they must spend $30,000 to account for what we supposedly give them. If we don't give them $30,000, they have to spend it anyway, or they don't get the subsidy from the state. They don't get the $9,600 additional. So in their budget, they always have to budget not only their regular operating expense, which is like $700 and some thousand I saw, right? They have to spend the $30,000 we don't give them. If we gave it to them, they have an additional $30,000 to use as they see fit. But if we don't give it to them, they still have to spend it, like we gave it to them. That's the one thing that obviously is an issue, because if they don't spend, if we don't give it to them, and they have to spend it, they don't have the money to spend, and they're spending it. So it's almost like a $60,000 thing, because we didn't give it to them, and they have to spend it. So, that's a little bit of a caveat there.
I don't know if I'm just curious because of what you're talking about. The library became a regional library in 2008, which they said they covered Pottstown, Upper West, and Lower.
Mhm.
I don't know, did you ever have a conversation, like, do they service any other people, like from the Coventry?
Again, I sent an email to everyone on that board, and not one person responded back to me,
Okay,
right? Which I was disappointed with, but that's, again, that's their choice, right? And so I looked, again, this is my own personal research, I don't know, I'm not a librarian.
There's a gentleman in the audience.
Oh,
that
okay,
says
sir,
he-
you know?
Rich Cover, 1303 Farmington Avenue, you just said it. If they didn't take the time to respond back to you, I mean, that's crazy.
It was disappointing, I'll agree, it's disappointing.
Absolutely,
But they
here's my
have
problem
helped.
with the library, the Pottstown Library.
Yeah.
First of all, it's in Pottstown. Second of all, there's no parking. I mean, what are we gaining out of it?
So we do have upwards of thousands of people that use the library on a monthly to sometimes
And school.
daily basis, plus the
School district as
schools.
well.
Plus, there's a lot of functions that the library is, it's a very good library, and it is a shame, I did
Do you
read
still
about
have, excuse me, do you still have children in school?
I do not, no, my
My
boys.
daughter's a senior this year, I never ever heard any of her friends or anybody in that school saying, hey, we gotta go down to the Pottstown Library.
No.
I'm just throwing it out.
I hear you, and I get you, it is, but it is a very important aspect to many other individuals. I was not one that used the library when I was young, I was in the library all the time, but as I got older, internet replaced all that for me, right? But other people don't have internet, so they do go use the library and such like that. So I understand that part.
My wife uses the library all the time with those books online kind of stuff. They have their, whatever they get. There's a lot more than just going there and parking and getting a book out of shelves. There are
And-
lots of
yeah.
things going on.
And losing the passport thing is a
That's a
big blow to
big hit.
their budget. I don't understand why the states decide, and it's not just that, it's the entire, from my understanding, it's public libraries everywhere have lost that ability,
Yes.
so.
Can I address the regional aspect of it?
Go ahead.
My understanding, Kathy, on the regional aspect of it, when they take on an area and increase the size of the region, they have to prove to the state that they can serve that region, and so they have to demonstrate that they have the staff, that they've spent whatever they have to spend
That's the expenditure.
to serve those people. So when they take us on, they increase their responsibility financially to serve us. So if you're asking, is somebody else a part of their service area? I don't think so.
No, New Coventry is,
Oh, it is?
It is.
Okay, I
It is?
don't.
it's not listed, it's
It's
not
not
listed,
Yeah.
because they don't wanna add on that budget, cause North Coventry is obviously probably pretty large, and that means they would have to spend that expense. But North Coventry does use the regional public, I don't know if they actually had stats of all the people that use it, I guess they keep records from where their addresses are, and North Coventry was one of the larger ones.
But if they do officially take it on, they've got to increase the size of their operations to
Correct.
demonstrate to the state that they can handle them. So there's the financial.
They don't have the funds to do that. That is correct. They could not add on North Coventry unless North Coventry was willing to give their matching, and I don't think North Coventry's gonna do that.
Okay.
Alright, so, if we were going to vote, the question just is, are we gonna vote for an exact amount, or we're going to vote to give them additional funds for this year with a recommendation from the budget committee, when the budget committee starts actually seeing where the dollars are coming from and how much money we have? Would that be an acceptable?
That's acceptable to me.
I'm gonna give you the option to
Yeah,
say the
I know.
exact amount versus.
Yeah, I know, well, okay, well, that's it. I think that, the library needs to hear an exact amount. I mean, if it's not in our budget, and it won't be in our budget because of the complications involved there, they just can't have well, we might give you some money later on if we have it. They need to hear a number. Cause they haven't, and again, I don't wanna speak for them now, I've learned a lot about library functions I never knew about, but it's not all sticking permanently in my head. But there's a point where they've got to make a decision to, cut us loose, so that they're not responsible for the expense, you know, that they're obligated to expend for us. So if they, you know, since we don't have it in our budget, they're giving us grace, so to speak, over the course of the next couple months here, until we firmly amend our budget or say we're gonna do it, so that they can report to the state. I think the reports are like coming up in April or May or something like that, and they can report the proper numbers. Yes, we have 6,000 people from Upper Pottsgrove that we serve, and therefore we deserve the money from the state, you know, and they have to make those reports shortly, so. I'm, for all the reasons we've talked about, and as much as I hate the idea of telling people we might have to, get extra money from you somewhere down the line, this isn't the only thing that's gonna cause us to have to raise taxes.
No.
This is just a very, very
Just one piece.
small, little piece, and so, in order to make the library whole, I would recommend we amend the budget to allow for their full fair share, our full fair share, just like all the other towns.
Well, yes. Darren, I know you're in the full share.
What you said about saying we are going to include them and the Arboretum, but we'll determine that after we have the meeting, Matt Dallas and everything.
Dave?
I think we should have advice from Matt first before we make financial decisions. But,
Altogether.
I do wanna support the library
Yeah, I do too.
and the Arboretum, but I think we really need a good look at our finances to see exactly where we're at.
Well, if we're gonna have to vote on something, we gotta put a motion out there, and I'm gonna make a motion that we, and I'm keeping out the Arboretum here, I'm just doing one thing.
We gotta do one at a time.
I'm just gonna make a motion that we commit, and amend our budget, you know, like we can do it anytime we want, to include a $30,000 payment to the library, representing the fair share of Upper Pottsgrove Township. That's my motion.
Hold on for 1 second, real quick, alright? I'm trying to think if there's a time frame, because you gotta give Matt time too. If you
It doesn't, it won't matter what he says. He's not gonna say we don't have $30,000 to spend.
Well, he's gonna say, yeah, we have $10 million to spend.
Right.
You spend it as you see fit.
Right.
Alright, go ahead and make your motion. Make your motion.
Can I say
I
something?
made the motion, is.
Go ahead,
You
sir.
don't mind if I can say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
About the whole situation. Couldn't they substantiate how many Upper Pottsgrove residents actually use the library and have library cards?
It's just under 1,000.
Over 100,000?
Just under 1,000. We have a 6,000 population, there's
Right,
about 1,000
exactly.
that have cards.
Yeah. Okay, so does that substantiate the 30,000? I don't know.
They base it on your population.
Yeah.
Whatever the population is, they multiply by $5 and that's it. Like, Lower Pottsgrove gives them $62,000 a year, West Pottsgrove gives them $19,000 a year, Pottstown gives them $212,000 a year, and based on the same calculations, population, we would owe them $30,000.
We are the only township that does not contribute anything. Not saying 30,000, I'm just saying we don't contribute anything,
And that's
Well-
every year?
every year.
Are they
Last 5
expanding?
years.
Yes.
Yeah,
Are they going up a few floors? They're not going out?
Now, we haven't given them anything.
Yeah, that's one of those amazing things, so,
Yeah.
okay.
West also
Thank you.
didn't give for a couple years, maybe 2 years or so. I saw that in their diagram,
Yeah.
and then they started to
They
give
started
again.
giving.
The Pottstown gives more than they need to because they have a library tax.
Yes.
It's their library.
Pardon?
It's their library, right?
Actually, now that it's regional, it's our library.
Yeah, it's everybody's tax.
That's when they went regional, which, I mean, that was 2008. I know I didn't go to the library around that time, so I never read anything about, I read now that libraries can go regional for this reason.
Yeah.
So that's why they give an extra, I even forgot what it was.
They supposedly give
Extra.
117.5, they give $94,000
This
extra.
extra.
Yeah, 90,
Yeah.
because they have the
Based on their
tax.
tax.
Based on their tax.
And that's
Yeah.
what some municipalities are doing,
Mhm.
is implementing a separate library tax, and that would be a referendum that the taxpayers would
Right.
put on.
Right now, we're not looking at doing a referendum to increase any taxes.
No, thank you.
We're not looking at
Sorry,
doing
I
any,
even said
we're
that,
not
sir.
doing, that's a no-no, right? Alright, I have a motion to pay the full $30,000 to the Pottstown Library. I need a second.
I think you turned Tyrone off.
Tyrone, can you hear me? Did you hear what the motion was?
Yeah, to pay the $30,000 to the library.
All right. I need a second.
I second.
Alright. We have a motion and a second. So, obviously, we've already discussed, right? I'm gonna ask for a vote because we've already did the discussion. I need a vote for yes to give the public library exactly $30,000 as not a line item, but just an amended amount to give them.
Correct.
Alright. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You're gonna give the 30?
You're gonna give them the 30 now?
Okay. Kathy?
Nay,
Nay?
I wanna see that.
Alright, I'm gonna vote aye as well to give them the $30,000. We're gonna need to come up with that money. But yes, we're gonna vote yes to give them the $30,000. Alright, Tyrone, I need a motion now to, if we're going to increase the donation to the arboretum. I need a motion for that. We have not set a number for them.
We have not discussed numbers at all.
We have not discussed numbers at
I'll
all.
say right now, they're at $5,000. They spend, 4 or 5 times that much just on township activity, maintaining trails, whatever, running the programs and so forth. We haven't spoken about a number.
Would you like to speak about a number?
25,000.
No, I think it's 20. I can't vote yes for that.
What?
I can't vote for yes. Their whole budget's $29,000.
Whose budget?
Didn't you say their budget or something like that?
Oh, no, no,
$29,000?
No.
You gave me something here. What's it? $29,000
No. That's how much.
total
they-
yearly expenses for their arboretum. $26,728.
That's how
what I got.
much they spend of their money on us. That's how much they spend on our stuff. They have several $100,000 that they are playing with.
Okay, so the
That
total
they spend
budget's
all kinds of-
$100,000.
Right.
This is how much they spend for
That's
Upper Potts program.
Unrecompensed work for us.
All right. Again, understand every dollar we give them is dollars we're going to have to find.
Again, we had talked about a number, I really hadn't, I hadn't thought about that much. Considering everything that we've gone through here now and hearing, the concerns for every $10,000 we're talking about, any amount additional is great. If you'd feel better with, a $10,000 push at this time, I'm sure that we can talk about the Arboretum over the years and months and years to come, and hopefully they'll be able to demonstrate their value to us, and again, that we'll feel that we should be supporting that.
All right,
And it's
how
not
about
supporting the Arboretum, they work for us.
I get they work for us. How about we table this part to bring up, obviously, because we're not gonna donate to them, I'm gonna change in a second, Jim. We're not gonna donate to them anyway until the,
Right.
what is it, in October?
At least October.
At least October,
November.
so we're not gonna donate till October, so why don't we table them now? And we can bring them up as we know more about our finances.
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
Everybody good with that one?
I agree, I wanna see a financial
All
audit.
right.
I feel good about that.
Jim, go ahead, you had a question.
Elwood, if the Arboretum helps maintain our trails, can we take the money from the open space fund?
What?
No,
No.
no,
No.
no.
25% of the open space funds can be used for maintenance of the open space.
I'm not gonna recommend that this evening.
Not right now.
Certainly look into it at some
Yeah,
point.
I do agree up here that is something we're not as pressed for, and I think over the course of the years, we become more comfortable with the budget, where money's coming and going, that we can delay making any recommendation for the Arboretum tonight. But as far as taking it specifically for the open space fund, I know that the township currently uses more than that now outside of the Arboretum. So, yeah.
All right. Then I'm gonna make a motion to table the arboretum for tonight.
Second.
All right, so we don't have to have a vote for that, we need to table it, table it. All right, very good. All right, so we're gonna move on